Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Today I wanted to just kind of walk you guys through how I plan and prep for like that big Thanksgiving meal. So the first thing that I'm going to do is plan out the menu. So I think it's fairly typical to do either like a turkey or a ham. Some people would rather do something like prime rib or something like that, lamb. Of course, you can make whatever main you want, whatever sides you like, however you like them. I'm just going to go through and give you some examples. So, of course, when I plan out the menu, there's going to be mains, there's going to be sides, there's going to be desserts, and then there's going to be beverages. You might also have like appetizers. I think those are most of the areas that I would normally cover. So, for example, for the main, you could do ham, and you can also do turkey. Now, granted, I mean, it just all depends on what your family, what those preferences are. Now, for side dishes, so I'm going to stick with turkey and ham for now. For side dishes, there are certain items that for Thanksgiving I expect. It's not Thanksgiving without these things. So one of those things is going to be green bean casserole. And I'll just abbreviate that because I did not give myself very much space. We need stuffing. We need potatoes. And when I say potatoes, typically I am talking, I mean, this is Thanksgiving, so I am talking about mashed potatoes. I do also really like a sweet potato mash, but they are two drastically different things. And 9 times out of 10, my kids actually don't like sweet potatoes. So I would probably be making both of those. Also, some sort of corn. I feel like, I know my family, typically they'll make like a cream corn dish. That's not my favorite. I feel like it's too sweet. So I would prefer like a fresh corn on the cob or even like canned corn, if I'm being honest. But I feel like those are a necessity. Also, you need cranberry sauce. I know there's a lot of variation. I'm sorry, my computer's going berserk. I know there's a lot of variation on, if you want whole cranberries, jellied cranberry sauce, homemade. Again, do whatever your preference is. On top of those, I'm trying to think. We really like Brussels sprouts. I can write. Brussels sprouts, and then I think that's a majority of the sides. I know a lot of people do like the sweet potato casserole. We are not those people. We just don't like the overly sweet. Like, me and my husband like sweet potatoes, but it has to be prepared almost more of a savory way. So we will add salt to our sweet potatoes to cut down a little bit on that sweetness. And we won't add anything like brown sugar, maple syrup, marshmallows, none of that stuff. It's just, we just don't prefer it. And then for desserts, we gotta have, I can't write, pumpkin pie, pecan pie. Again, I can't write. And those are, I mean, those two are pretty much the staples. For beverages, we'll do like tea, water, sometimes soda. For appetizers, we're always going to have deviled eggs. We'll sometimes do like cocktail sausages. And then like a fruit tray and a veggie tray. And usually those will have some form of dip. Oh, and then we will also have a cheese ball. And if you don't know what a cheese ball is, it's essentially like cream cheese with like seasonings and like a bunch of different toppings, and then it's all rolled into one big ball. There's usually going to be like some sharp cheddar cheese, bacon, pecans, and then you could throw like a ranch seasoning packet in there and then mix it all up really good. And then you let it sit in the fridge, like wrapped in plastic wrap. And then when it's time to serve, you just bring it out and you put it with a butter knife and a bunch of crackers, and you spread the cheese mixture on your cracker, and it's quite tasty. And there's tons of different variations of that. So don't think that like that exact recipe is what you have to follow by any means. So when I'm making this menu list, obviously for Thanksgiving, you're going to be making a lot more food than you would on any given weeknight. Hopefully none of you are making this amount of food. I mean, if you are, like, invite me over. I'll be there. I promise. I will not flake out on you. So when I'm making this list, my thought process is always, how am I going to successfully cook all of this in a reasonable amount of time, and all of the hot dishes still be hot, and all of the cold dishes still be cold, and like us not burn anything or have to, not have stuffing because it wasn't ready in time with everything else. It does take a lot of forethought when you're making this amount of food. So first I will always start off with, because now that my menu is done, my second step would be, what can I prep ahead of time? So the items on my list that I can prep ahead of time, I can definitely prep the green bean casserole, and I can then, and I don't mean finish it. I mean, you can prep it ahead of time, assemble that whole casserole dish, throw it in the refrigerator. Just don't put the French fried onions on top. And then day of, the last thing that I need to do is take it out, throw it in the oven, let it heat up, and then add the topping. And then we're good to go. And that can be done typically in the time frame that the turkey needs to rest. So I can definitely prep my green bean casserole. I can also prep and bake both pies. And also, don't forget that when you are hosting Thanksgiving, I mean, if you have your friends coming over, your family coming over, you can always do this potluck style and have them all bring something, so that there's less for you to prepare. For example, nobody that I know is going to turn down a pie because it's store-bought. Now, if you want homemade pies, by all means, absolutely make homemade pies. Just make them ahead of time and then put them in the fridge, and then you're good to go. Of course, I would prep the tea and beverage area. Now, when I say prep, I mean, putting the cups in a central location, any bottled beverages, even the cooler, if you're going to have a cooler. I wouldn't say get the ice yet, but I would go ahead and put the drinks in there and then throw the ice on top the next day. Because while I'm in the kitchen cooking, my husband can go run and get that ice and throw it in that cooler. And then by the time guests get there, we've already got the cold beverages ready to go. If you're also going to have like cups with like names on them, I would get all that stuff set up ahead of time. And then I would also set up the table ahead of time. That way your table's already done. Now, the only caveat with that is I have 8 pets, 5 of which are cats. And cats like to be a menace when it comes to the table. I cannot fathom why, but my cats like to go and rip my tablecloth off my table every single night. Every time I go to bed, I get up in the morning and my tablecloth is on the floor. It's a fun thing that they have that I don't... So I just wouldn't set any glassware on the table is essentially what I'm saying. Nor any fresh flowers. On top of that, I can also make deviled eggs. The cocktail sausages I would not make. I would make both veggie trays, or both fruit and veggie trays. My brain shut off. Veggie trays. And then I would also make the cheese ball. So that way I know those things are already done. And when guests arrive, because typically if I'm making, I mean, I know there's like Thanksgiving dinner is a thing, but like we make Thanksgiving whatever time it's ready. And then that's like the main meal of the day. So we will have family start coming over at like 10 a.m. And then knowing full well that like the food's not going to be done until 2, maybe 3 o'clock. But that's why we make so many appetizers, and we play board games and trivia, and we chat and catch up and all those lovely things while we're snacking and eating and relaxing, because I don't like a high strung event. I'd rather be kind of chilling and relaxing. Like I've always watched people in movies, in different situations where the hosts are running around frantically, not able to enjoy anything. And then by the time it's all said and done, they're exhausted. They didn't get to catch up with any family members. And it just does not seem like a pleasant experience. So to me, I was like, why would anybody host then? Why would anybody want to host if that's the scenario they're walking into? So I always try my hardest to make it as easy as I can, to where my husband and I are able to still enjoy the company we have over, even when things are cooking in the oven. So then once I've got this list of what I can prep ahead of time, what we can do beforehand, the day before, 2 days before, that will make our lives easier. Because this is also going to break out into a list of, because you don't make deviled eggs in 5 minutes. You have to hard boil your eggs. Then you have to peel all your eggs. Then you have to cut them all in half. Then you have to remove the yolk, etc. It is a process. So that's usually going to take more than a day, just because we will boil and peel and have the eggs in one day. Then we will make our mixture and fill them the next day. So that way it's not so labor intensive, or at least it doesn't feel that way. But after step 2 of the ahead of time prep, step 3 would be ensuring, okay, we're going to call this mapping out our cooking. So when I say mapping out our cooking, obviously, well, okay, I don't have the space in my oven to put both a turkey and a ham. It's not going to happen. They will not fit under any circumstances. So the oven is going to be primarily used for my turkey. That's fine. That's perfect. I already have that planned. So the turkey is going to be in the oven. The ham, we typically do get a smaller ham, so it's not a concern for me, will be warmed in the crock pot. In one of the crock pots. I have a couple. So since we said we will be prepping the green beans ahead of time, the green bean casserole, oven after the turkey. Okay. So now that I've got the ham, the turkey, the green beans taken care of, I know where they're getting cooked and how and when. Well, where and how are basically the same thing. But then I've got stuffing, potatoes, corn, cranberry sauce, Brussels sprouts. Okay, so for stuffing, potatoes, corn, Brussels sprouts. Sorry if you guys can hear that cat meowing. He's being extra. He misses his dad. Okay, so I've got 4 different items here that I will likely need to cook on the stovetop. So that means, and I've got 4 burners, so I should be good there. So I can put stovetop, 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 and stovetop. Whoops. Okay. You know what I was trying to say. But two things I didn't put on this list were rolls and also gravy. So we're going to put gravy. We're going to put rolls. And then we're also going to add cocktail sausages. Cocktail sausages. And cocktail sausages will be done in a crock pot. And then I can also, since I'm out of burners, now technically I could, once the corn finishes, I could then do the gravy on the stove. But remember how I said that when I'm planning, I want everything to be hot and fresh when people are making their plates. So that means that for gravy to stay hot and fresh, I should put that in a crock pot too. And I do have, I think I have like 5 or 6 crock pots, but they're not big crock pots. So I'm not going to have like a huge crock pot for like 2 cups of gravy. I do have like a very, very small crock pot. I have like 2 medium crock pots. Actually, I have like a teeny tiny crock pot. And then it's literally like maybe holds a cup. And then I have like a slightly larger small one. And then I have like 2 medium ones and then like 2 large ones. And the rolls will be done in the oven with the green bean casserole. Because that allows me to know I do not need to freak out about anything. Everything can be on the stovetop, sitting on low, while I finish off the green beans, while the turkey is cooling, and the ham will be in a crock pot, so everything is divided and conquered, essentially. I see a lot where people kind of get stuck in how do I make it past all of this? Like how do I navigate? And I found that to be an issue the first time or two that I hosted like a large meal at my house. But now I've gotten so used to that divide and conquer mindset that this just helps me so much. So I don't know how everyone else plans their Thanksgiving meal. This is the only way that I've found that really helps my brain. Because then day of, I know exactly what I need to do. Usually we will prep the turkey the night before or very early morning of, so that way, once it's actually time to put it into the oven, it's ready to go. We don't have to stop and dress it up and trim and add a ton of butter and all the things, because that's a whole 30-minute process in and of itself, because of the way we do our turkeys. But I hope this helps some of you guys, or gave you guys some ideas for even some of your menu. If you guys have a favorite dish that you can't have Thanksgiving without, leave it in the comment section below. I would love to add some new items or swap out some of my existing items for something a little more interesting. But I hope this helps. I hope some of you get some benefit from this. And thank you guys for being here, and I will see you guys in my next video. Thanks. Bye.